Hi, for today's teardown, one of eBay most famous tornado aircraft parts, the environment control panel. So there is a lot of these control panels available on eBay at random prices, around usually 60 or 80 British pounds. I got this one for 40, so it is a good deal. The front plate is a little bit damaged, but I could actually get a new all-stock replacement plate, but it will cost me the same thing I paid for the whole item. So it is from the Panavia Tornado aircraft, the environment control panel, and it will be an interesting 3-in-1 teardown because we have the main panel, we have this indicator, we have the module behind this button. Sadly, this indicator will not be possible to open because it is completely sealed. So first, what do we have on the front? Push button for windshield wash, rain dispenser, displacer, something like this. Standby for the demist of windshield. Oxygen test and quantity indicator apparently. Cabin heat between automatic and manual with a very nice latch action with this button. Cabin pressure altitude indicator. Canopy demist. Air master system with here nice pull action switches. So to go in emergency you have to pull, but you can go on in off position without pulling. And the intakes anti-ice with left and right fail, and same button here, on with latch, auto and off. So the on permanent on will require pulling on the button and a test. So it is all for the front. Here is what it looks on the side. So you can see it is the panel with everything mounted on it, and on the back big main connector, big wiring loom. Here your model and serial numbers. This module obviously for the cabin heat selector. I believe it contains more than just a switch, because you can see it is quite big with two big plugs, and it is actually called the normal air garret temperature controller. So it will be interesting to have a look at it. So where to start? First we will have a look at the pieces all around here. So first about the switches here, you can see they are a particular kind by Lucas Aerospace. So this thing is a mix of different manufacturers, and you can see the wires behind it are not soldered, they are crimped in some way, and there is this cover which is glued with silicone, and also this little blue plug onto the unused connection here. So I believe you need special tools to undo them. The other ones are the same model. Here it is a double switch. One switch go to double assembly. Here also. About the buttons here and lights, you can see for some reason they did apply some heat shrink all around. I am not sure why, but it is the same for the other one here at the bottom. So this is a regular light and push to test function, I believe, but this one for some reason it looks like they did take a light indicator, but they are only using the push button feature of it because you have only 2 wires, and if I pull on it, here you can see there is no lamp inside, there is actually a plug instead of a lamp. And it is clear plastic on the top only because the paint did come off, but originally it was painted in grey, this thing. So quite interesting. About the, the oxygen liters indicator. Here you can see there is a clamp to attach it to the front panel, which will be accessible after I remove the front panel, but there is no real point to undo it. You can see there is this ring on the diagonal groove ring here that is clamping a little bit conical shape that is clamping here, and it will attach this instrument, which I cannot take apart because it is obviously welded and sealed completely. It is the Normal Garrett contents indicator with a NATO stock number on the sticker, one modification checked, and the nice connector here that will come off like this, 5-pin connector, nice 6-pin even, nice golden contacts as expected, and it is real cool to have opportunity to play with these connectors. Apart from this, you have all the wiring loom, which is secured with both zip ties. I did add myself some zip ties because they were not enough in my opinion, but these ones are original. And you can see how they use heat shrink to make a cable loom at regular intervals of little pieces of heat shrink. It is quite interesting. All this cable loom goes to the main plug here. That is also a crimped connector attached on this panel. And you have here the big multi-pin connector with the dust cap from cap plugs, which is good because they are very hard to find. And we have this unit here by Sorio, so French company here, with a number of little blocks that are just some kind of interconnect terminal bus blocks. So I believe all the wires that go in one block are just connected together. There is no electronic components in them. It is just a clean way to make interconnects between wires. So I had some of them in an other item, but I believe I did sell it and I do not find it anymore. And you can see the unused holes here are also plugged with these little plastic pins. And actually 2 blocks here are not completely not used. So quite a waste of money here because they must be quite expensive. All this is secured by big screws with special nuts here riveted in the plate. And there is no point taking this apart because there is nothing to see in fact. They are just black plastic blocks with a few numbers on them but no real information. But it is quite interesting to notice this. Here you can see the big rubber grommet for the cables. And actually it is all for the main assembly. So now I will undo first this indicator. So about the screws on this cabin pressure altitude indicator, obviously they are not original. I did select and install myself screws, the best I could find so far in my stock, because the one it had originally were even worse. Gold colored, very fat slotted screws, hardware store screws, and too short. Quite weird. So I will undo this indicator real quick. And I did order some better screws for it, also for the front panel, because the two of the original screws were stripped and I will need to replace them. Luckily enough, I was able to undo them because it is necessary to remove the black unit here at the back. Okay, so this indicator will just come off like this, and I need just to disconnect the plug here, like so. It is by Luftgerätwerk, so here German brand, Video, which is more known for car parts. German Air Force, I believe. Quality stamp here. Date code of 1981, it seems. Serial number 418, model number here, and it is a Calvin altimeter. So we will open it. Apparently, there are screws all around the front here. So I will see what happens when I undo the screws, which are not tight at all, by the way. Eight of them, no safety seal here, tamper-proof seal, nothing. So on the similar panels you find on eBay, sometimes this indicator is missing. And sometimes also, for some reason, it is mounted sideways like this on the panel. Quite weird. I do not know if it is original or not, but it should be possible to check this in Tornado aircraft cockpit photos. Okay, one screw left. So I did already do a marking here previously to be sure I will reinstall this in the correct orientation. This is just coming off. We have a quite thick glass on the O-ring. We have a main dial here, little bulbs for backlight, and it is just falling off like this, quite nice. So yes, as expected, the electrical connector is just for the lights. You can see there is a flat flex here going to these lamps. Little bulbs you could replace quite easily apparently, but should require soldering iron. Little hole here to let the air pressure go in, and your very regular altimeter mechanism and a reed capsule, little quarter of a circle gear here, and little arm to transmit the movement of the capsule to the mechanism, and ultimately the needle. And I believe this thing is actually working like a barometer also, because from one day to another day the needle is not exactly the same spot. So quite interesting. You can see they did a cutout here in the front piece to let space for the capsule here. Quite interesting. And these pieces here are secured with big special parts with Allen shape at the back. Okay, so I will put this back together because there is nothing else to see, and we will take apart the front panel of the device. So let's do it. So, before I undo the front panel here, a quick look at this, the over indicators here, the over lights, how they work. Here you have this ring you have to unscrew that will free the, so it is quite unusual design, this one, and your regular bulb inside, and it is a Doughty Electrics brand indicator, this one. And you can see also I did not mention two other things at the back. For each device you have the device number which is written, and you have this little stack of circuit boards with, on the first one, just diode, clearly written here. This one is actually an aluminum plate, it seems, with two Teflon insulated standoffs. And the three other ones are actually circuit boards with each time, it seems, a glass coated power diode and power resistor, excuse me, and 3 diodes. Also, you have on each wire the wire number stamped onto little bits of each link. A lot of little numbers written here also. What else? The big standoffs here that are securing the back plate to the front have each ring all around them. It was worth noticing. Okay, now I can undo this button. Just two set screws, and they are metric set screws, which is good. All the hardware is metric on this thing, luckily enough. Okay. So the button is translucent, clear plastic, to allow backlight going to this area here apparently. And it did scratch a little bit the front here because it did not include a washer, or maybe it was too close to the panel. But I can replace this panel if I have a budget. They are available as new old stock parts. So now I will undo the screws that are securing the faceplate. So this one is not original, I did sell it in my stock. The three other ones are original, but they are going off because I will replace them, they are stripped. And I did actually order replacement screws because no matter which quantity of screws you have in stock, you never find what you need. I have 20 or 30 kilos of stock screws, really, but I still order new screws. Okay, this one is actually pretty bad. So this front panel is coming off. So, okay, we have two wires that are soldered to the front for the backlight, obviously. And it looks like, it is interesting to notice that it is a single block, this thing. You have a built-in light, but usually you can undo the back and access bulbs or something like this, but not here. Or maybe it is covered by the paint. So it could be electroluminescent backlight, maybe. Quite unusual, you have no access. Here is here the information. 115 volts, 400 hertz. Quite unusual and interesting. Made by VDO in 1986, serial number 990. Interesting. You have a little bit of dust around the parts here. I will probably take the opportunity before reassembly that it is apart to clean it the best I can. I can see handwritten numbers here, but we not see them on camera. But I am here for access to the screws to this unit, which I want to undo in order to be able to have a look at what we have inside. It will not be super easy access because I do not want to unsolder the wires here for no reason, but I believe I will be able to do it. It is not tight. This one like this maybe. Okay. So it is really not too bad so far to take apart this thing. And last one, I will be able to remove. Yes, this model is moving. So it is my main interest in this whole unit is to see what we have in here. So this module, I am really curious to see what we have inside. Normal Garrett controller temperature, not temperature controller. An auto stock number, big serial number, handwritten stuff here, one sticker here, and apparently the remains of another sticker which was there previously. Just a black module with a shaft of a button on the front. Typically British screws here with a recess in the middle, as you can see. Allen screws. And screws all around. I believe I will need to undo these ones. And the two connectors at the back. Okay, so I will undo the screws all around. There we are, the screws are removed, so I am terribly curious. Do we have just something like a wafer switch and wires going to the connectors? Or do we have electronics inside this? Yes, it is sliding off like such. And bingo, we have electronics. A nice stack of circuit boards actually. All separated here by little standoffs. Nice, typically British pink wire and heat shrink. Complicated assembly at the front apparently. You can see I will not take it apart any further, I believe, because first the wires are in the way. But as you can see, we have obviously in the middle here switch assembly that is hidden deep in the middle, or some potentiometer maybe. We have micro switches here that are detecting the position of the button also, with this quite complicated setup in the front, a lot of screws. Actually, yes, it is for the latching action maybe. It must be this. Micro switches, grounding wire here, on the stack of circuit boards. We have on the back, the one at the back, only coils and capacitors. You can see red coils by a stack of 2 each time, and red capacitors by a stack of 2. They are regular WIMA German brand capacitors. Interesting. All the wires here are secured flat with this string, and we have one separator board here made in FR4, regular circuit board material, but nothing on it. And your stack of 3 circuit boards, which apparently have round ICs for these ones at least. They are LM431, so just op amps. So a number of them actually. I have 5 or 6 of them on each board. Few resistors, capacitors, and 1 or 2 transistors also. And this relays with a big glass diode here. This board here is a little bit different without the relays, and this one mostly have a number of metal diodes, as you can see, but also one round IC. So it is quite a surprise, this thing. I was not expecting at all so many electronics in it. Quite well made also. So nice thing to have. Really, I was just expecting a switch and wires, but it seems like it is some kind of built-in all-in-one temperature controller. Quite interesting. I have no clue of what this board here is doing, because it seems not to be power supply related. I have no bridge rectifiers, no smoothing capacitors, electrolytic capacitors, just metallized capacitors and coils. Some kind of filters apparently for signals. Something like this. Quite weird. Okay. And a super nice setup here in the front. Really serious stuff. Okay, so I hope you did. It will conclude, I believe, this video, because I did show everything, considering that the little oxygen instrument here is not possible to open. And we have seen everything, but now, like as the main black box is removed, we have a better look at how the panel is made, and a better look at the switches. Here I will be also able to clean a little bit better everything. So I am quite happy with this device, and it will be for sure a nice addition to my collection. Thanks for watching, bye bye.